for anybody who's watching, if you feel like sharing, where in the world are you? Because that's always fun. So there will always be uncertain times, right? There always will be. There always have been. And right now we are in like the magnifying glass version of uncertain times. So I want to share 3 of what I would consider like the keys or the pillars or the foundational pieces to finding strength during that time. And I want to be really clear, when I talk about strength, when I talk about inner strength, when I talk about confidence, self-belief, all of that stuff, that doesn't mean feeling great all the time. That doesn't mean feeling confident all the time. That doesn't mean that you're like so completely solid that you don't need any help. No, hell no, right? It means that you're solid enough that you know how to kind of come back and you know how to recover back to yourself, and that you know how to, when you lose your footing, we can't talk today. When you lose your footing, you know how to recover. You know how to get back up. You know how to dust yourself off. You know how to ask for help, whatever it is, and get back. Jacqueline is in Marin County. What's up, Angela? You're editing my photos as I speak. That's amazing. So grateful, and I can't wait to see them. For anybody who doesn't know Angela, she's an amazing photographer down in Florida, and I've had the pleasure of doing multiple photo shoots with this lovely lady, and our most recent one was down in San Diego in, when was that, October, on the beach. Super fun. Okay, 3 keys. Number 1, inner strength, cultivating inner strength from the inside out. And what I mean by that is, I think the majority of us humans have learned somewhere in our life through just our general conditioning and as we exist in the world, kind of what society and our culture teaches us. We learn to live from the outside in. We learn to look for validation outside of ourselves. We learn to look for guidance outside of ourselves. And I'm not saying never listen to external guidance. There's amazing wisdom in teachers and coaches and people to look up to and to see as role models, of course. And when we rely on externals, when we rely on outside things to feel strong, to feel okay, to feel worthy, then what's up, Tamsin? Then we become dependent on it, and then we give our power away. So when we are, let's say, like, as long as you are getting tons of positive reinforcement from your teachers, then you feel okay. Or as long as you have an adoring crowd, then you feel okay. Or as long as you are doing well and accomplishing and achieving, and as long as like things are good, then you feel okay. That would be living from the outside in. All those things are wonderful. It's amazing to have achievements and accomplishments and support and people giving you positive reinforcement. Sure, we all want that. And where you want to get your strength is from the inside out. So when it comes to cultivating that strength, that of course is a process, it's a journey, it's a combination of things like mindset and learning how to manage your emotions. It is training yourself to take action, be okay with failure, learn how to embrace and recover from failure, and gaining courage and confidence through trial and error and being on the journey, right? But it's about cultivating that inner strength. And what's so beautiful about cultivating inner strength is then you become, like in my mastermind group in Unshakable, we talk about the analogy of becoming like a tree, right? You become like this strong, steady tree where your trunk, your core, like the core of you, the inside of you is so fucking solid. Your roots are like deeply dug into the ground, and you can go with the flow. You know, if there's a storm, you're not going to get ripped out by your roots, because you are not rigid. So you're strong, your inner core is strong, and you can go with the flow, you can move around. So whether it be, you know, you suffer some sort of a tragedy in your life, or there's a natural disaster, or there's a pandemic, or you lose your job, like any of the things that are very, very real for us right now, or just any old day-to-day normal, you know, hiccup, hurdle, whatever it is, when we have such a strong inner core, we can handle all of that. It doesn't mean it's fun. It doesn't mean that there aren't consequences. It doesn't mean that we don't fail. You know, of course, all that kind of stuff can happen. And we have the strength to pick ourselves back up. We realize that just because something failed, and just because, you know, your business failed, or you lost your job, or somebody broke up with you, or you had a miscarriage, or you have trauma, like all of that stuff that could be happening to you in your life or on your path doesn't have to knock you down permanently. It just is part of the struggle, part of the journey, part of the pathway, part of you expanding and growing and getting even stronger. So when we cultivate that inner strength from the inside out, then anything and everything on our path can just become part of our growth, part of our expansion. That's part of having a growth mindset, right? We learn to feel our feelings and move through them rather than bottling them up. Lots of different things involved in that. That's absolutely one of the foundations that I always work with my clients on first, is starting to plant the seeds of cultivating that inner strength from the get-go. And then of course it builds over time. So that's key number one, is inner strength from the inside out, not relying on externals. Key number two is what I wrote down is authenticity and alignment. Authenticity and alignment. So you could call that congruency. What's up, Sandra? It trips me out when I see people with my name. I'm like, I don't know. I know very few other humans in real life that actually have my name. Hey, Morgan. For anybody who's just joining, feel free to share. If you stay on this long enough, feel free to share where you are, because that's always fun. Where are you in the world right now? So key number two, authenticity and alignment, or congruency. No matter who you are, this is important, but extra shout out to my introverts and my empaths, right? We are wired a little differently. We interact with the world a little differently. So it's extra important for us. It's extra important for the sensitive types to be a stand for living your truth, for honoring who you are, for knowing who you are and setting up your life in a way that supports that. Because otherwise it's really hard to stay strong, especially during uncertain times, right? To the empaths out there, like, you feel me? We are feeling this so deeply right now, everything that's happening. And so we have to set our lives up in ways that support that. We have to know who we are. Like, so I'll use myself as an example. For me, for example, to have authenticity alignment looks like knowing who I am, knowing I'm sensitive, knowing I'm an introvert, knowing I'm an empath. And because of that, doing lots of things to honor my need for alone time, to do lots of things to allow myself to release my emotions, right? To, for somebody who's an extrovert, let's say, it's really important for you to have connections with people enough that you charge your battery. For me, it's to make sure I have enough alone time to charge my battery, right? We have to honor who we are, because if we're living a life that's based on who we think we're supposed to be and doing what we think we're supposed to do, again, it's like we're living from the outside in. We are out of alignment, and that does not feel good. I've watched it over and over and over again. I've seen so many people who come to me and their lives are good. They're on paper, their resumes look amazing. They're successful. They should be happy. But inside, they're completely out of alignment because they don't know who they are. They don't know what they stand for. They don't know what's important to them. And they've created a life that is not an expression of who they are. They've created a life that's a reflection of who they thought they were supposed to be and what they thought they were supposed to do. And so then it creates this misalignment and this tension, this like dissonance between their soul, I would argue, and what their life actually looks like. So the key there, and you don't have to do this overnight, the key there is to take little baby steps toward always finding out more about who you are and looking for ways to honor that, to set your life up in such a way that you can be who you are, that you can speak your truth, that you can spend time on the things that you actually give a shit about, you know? And what was I just gonna say about that? I don't know what I was just gonna say, it flew out of my head, but what comes to mind is the Viktor Frankl quote too, in A Man's Search for Meaning, when he says, "He who has a strong enough why can withstand or survive, I think it is, any what or any how." And I think that rings true, especially with what's going on right now. If you think of this pandemic as a magnifying glass, like any part of your life where you were out of alignment, you were not being true to yourself, you were not being authentic, there was not congruency in who you are and like what you stand for and what you believe and how you're living your life and how you're showing up, your behavior, your actions, any misalignment there probably is magnified right now, because what's going on has made it even more clear where you're out of alignment, where, like, for the people who maybe before, up until now, you were so busy just working and doing your thing that you didn't notice. Now maybe you're working from home, or now maybe you are not working, you're realizing like, wow, what the hell was I even doing? Why do I even have that job? Why am I doing what I'm doing? So this is, as hard as it is and as collectively traumatizing, I really want to acknowledge that, because this is a collective trauma that we're all going through. Hey, Ilva. Hey, Charlie. And amen, says Angela to that. Like, we are going through this collective thing and we're all experiencing it in different ways. And for a lot of us, it is probably highlighting where we're out of alignment, where we're out of, where we're not honoring who we are. So while it's really hard to go through, why not use this as an opportunity to notice those things, to see the gap and be like, wow, instead of seeing this through only as a problem and only as a challenge? What if I look at this as an opportunity? What if I look at this as a chance to pause and kind of reevaluate and really ask myself some hard questions about where I'm at in my life and what I want to do from here? So no matter where you're at in your journey, I think it's always important and always helpful to look at, how can I be more authentic? How can I be in more alignment? And right now, especially, it's a chance, it's an opportunity. It is, I would say, more important than ever to look at, like, how am I living my life and who do I want to be? Hey, Jeanette. So key number 3. So number 1 was inner strength from the inside out. Number 2 is authenticity and alignment, really honoring who you are and setting up your life to reflect that. And number 3 is community. So much of the work that I do is about individuals and self-help and personal development and all the things for, like, how do we know who we are and be who we are and feel more strong and blah, blah, blah. And I always want to remind us that personal development is doing that for the sake of community, for the sake of the collective. Like, I want to be a stronger me so that I can show up more powerfully for the we. That was something that one of my leadership trainings talked about, is they were talking about me to we. Like, self-help is not selfish, just like self-care is not selfish. It's not about taking care of myself and saying F you to everyone else. It's about taking amazing, radical care of myself. It's about having such deep and fierce self-love for myself so that I can go be a better leader, so that I can be a better partner, so that I can be a better friend, a parent, a sibling, an employee, a boss, an entrepreneur, whatever it is that you want to go be in the world, right? You do all of this inner work, you cultivate inner strength so that you can give back, so that you can serve, so that you can lift up the consciousness of humanity, or whatever your desired impact and goals and dreams are, right? And so one of the keys for finding strength in times of uncertainty is, I would say, finding and leaning into community, whatever that means for you, right? Community can mean lots of different things for all of us. I would say community is not just like random groups of people or, your family or whoever happens to be there. It's not just whoever's nearby, although right now, definitely lean into the few people that you're, physically nearby if you have some while we're sheltering in place. But the beautiful thing about community is being able to ask for help in a real and authentic way, being able to actually share your truth, being able to be raw and real and process emotions. So my tips about community are, have some, but find community. And it doesn't have to be, in person. There are amazing communities online. There's meetup groups, there's masterminds, there's Facebook groups, there's every imaginable, online forum for whatever your thing is. But I would say the important thing is be with communities that are going to honor who you are, that are going to give you space to share your truth, not people who are just gonna, debate with you all day long, right? We all have such a deep human need to be seen and to be heard and to be witnessed in our truth and also in our growth and our expansion. So I would say find communities that support your growth, that believe in your goals and dreams, and that will chat, they're not just gonna say what you wanna hear. They're not just gonna, pat you on the back. They're gonna cheerlead you and they're gonna lift you up and call you forth and challenge you, right? They want you to grow and expand and succeed. And one of the things I think that we can do when we're in community, and when you're in community, there's room for you to show up however you are any day, right? We're all always just doing the best we can. I genuinely believe that. And when we're in community, on the days, let's say, so in my mastermind, for example, there are days where some of the women are going to show up and they're feeling really fragile and they're having rough times. So those are the days they can ask for help. They're like, hey guys, please support me. I need to vent, or I need ideas, or I need brainstorming, or please pick me up off the ground while I'm really, I just face planted, help me recover from this. And then there's other days where you feel amazing. You feel grounded, you feel motivated, you feel like you have a lot to give. So those are the days that I say, serve, go help someone. I saw some meme on Instagram, I think it was, where it was like this little cartoon person holding a ball of light. And it was like, on the days that you need it, keep the light, hold the light. And on the days when you feel good, spread the light. And that's what I always like to teach in my communities is we're all there for the collective, but when you need it, take it. And when you have it, give it, right? So we're always filling ourselves up so that we can give more, so that we're lifting the collective. But right now, in these times of uncertainty, I would say community more important than ever. So please, please, please find community, whatever that means for you. So number 1, cultivating inner strength from the inside out. Number 2, authenticity and alignment. And number 3, community, finding and leaning into community. Those are my 3 keys for finding strength during times of uncertainty. If for anybody's listening, if you know that you want more of all of that, if you know that you want to become, unshakable like that tree that has deep roots that can handle anything, no matter what shit show is going on in your life or in the world, pandemic or no pandemic, if you want to become so strong on the inside that you can recover from anything and come back. And again, that doesn't mean it's a perfect, easy path. No, it's like there are challenges, but we can learn to reframe and shift our mindsets to see everything as growth, everything as opportunity, everything as expansion and collective, expanding our collective consciousness and uplifting ourselves, our species, right? Our communities. If you want that, if you want more on that, I would love to speak with you. If you are I especially focus on working with women who are introverts, women who are empaths, the sensitive ones who are also motivated and ambitious and have big dreams and want to go save the world and have a positive impact, but they need to do it their own way, their own unique way that honors who they are, that honors the introvert, the empath, the sensitive side. So if that is you, or if you are someone outside of that range, but you still want to explore working with me, I would love, love, love to talk to you. I'm going to pop a link below this, which is just an application to book a call with me. It's a totally free call, no strings attached. And what we would do is talk about where are you at right now? How are you doing with everything we just talked about today? Where do you want to go? And how do we close the gap? Right? No pressure at all. If you're not going to be a good fit to work with me, I would love to just help you and support you. I would love to help you brainstorm. I would love to help you come up with a strategy for how do you up level? How do you get to the next level from where you are right now? Right? I would love to do that. I would love to point you in the right direction. So if that's something that resonates, definitely fill out the application and I would love to speak with you. And if you are somebody who I know I could help and who would be a good fit for one of my programs, then I will totally share that with you too. Okay? So no pressure. And if it could be a good fit, I will absolutely invite you to consider working with me in one of my programs. So that's what that's about. Thank you so much for listening. If any of this resonated with you, I'd love to hear your takeaways in the comments, or feel free to share this with anybody. Feel free to send me a message if you have any questions or anything personal that you want to share. I love you. Stay safe. Have a wonderful rest of your day.